So like most people, I'm trying to get a head start on the new year. And we know that with New Year's comes New Year's resolutions. And a lot of times we often fail at our New Year's resolutions because we're not really defining what it is that we're trying to do. We're more or less just writing down a list of things that we would like to accomplish. You know, it's maybe reading one book a month. Maybe it's going to the gym. Maybe it's eating better. Maybe it's meditating, or maybe it's journaling. But whatever that thing is, a lot of times, more often than not, we fail at the complete list because we either make the list too big, we make it too unachievable, or we don't spend enough time planning and preparing for that. So that's why today I'm going to share with you some of my favorite journaling prompts that I'm going to be using over the next few weeks to prepare for that new year. So number one is growth and achievements. So I want to talk about a few different things here. I want to talk about my accomplishments that I'm most proud of for the year, so that I can show myself what I've done. Because I feel like a lot of times when we struggle moving forward and advancing, it's because we don't look back at the things that we've accomplished. We're so stuck and focused on the things that we're not getting done, the things that are going wrong, we fail to see all the things we've done along the way. And when you can show yourself that you've achieved a lot of great things, it's going to give you that motivation and that reinforcement to keep moving forward and see that you can accomplish things over time, that you don't have to look at the here and now. Think about if you're on a weight loss journey. You're not going to see the effects of that over the course of a couple of weeks. It might take a month. It might take 3 to 6 months. But a lot of us give up because we're not seeing those immediate results. So if you can look back and see things you've already accomplished over the course of a year and realize, I'm going to do that same thing again this year, I just might not see it right away. And then the other two things I want to talk about in this section is how I grew personally, as well as any challenges that I have overcome. Because if I can show myself that I have grown as a person, as a business owner, as a content creator, or whatever areas that I'm focusing on, that's just going to help me apply more to myself moving forward. And then when I think about those challenges that I overcome along the way, it's going to help me realize that I can beat hardships that cross paths with me. I can overcome challenges, and if they pop up again in the future, I'm going to be able to overcome them then as well because I've already done it once before. Now, moving on into section number 2, let's talk about lessons learned. And I'm going to start off my prompt with the biggest lesson that I learned from 2024. And from there, I can start to elaborate on different things, whether I learned from it because it was a negative experience, a positive experience. That doesn't really matter. The point is that I learned something big that's going to improve myself overall moving forward. And some things that I might talk about to elaborate on that is how that I would prepare myself going forward for potentially new things to happen, what I learned from that and how I can apply that going forward, and also what I might say to myself if I could travel back in time to the beginning of the previous year and say, hey, here's what you're going to learn at the end of the year. I'm going to go ahead and teach you that now. How different would some things look if you would have known that? The point of that practice, at least in my opinion, is that if I can tell myself what I would have done differently, then I can apply that to the following year so that I can think about that moving forward. Section number 3 is a very important section, and that is relationships and connections. So the things that I want to be asking myself and in writing about here is who the most positive impact on my life in 2024 was, why that was, what the benefit of that person or that relationship growth was. Maybe it was a separation from someone or something that made my life better because it removed negativity. It might be different for you, but that's kind of what we want to talk about in that section. I also want to talk about the people that I met, the new relationships that I made in 2024, whether that was someone virtually, it was through my professional or personal life. Who are the people I met, and why should they be reflected on? What significance have they brought to my life? And if they haven't, then maybe just leave them out. And the last thing, what did love and gratitude look like? Did I show enough care and affection and love and gratitude towards those around me, or is that an area that I can work on in 2025 or whatever year that you're watching this? If you're not projecting enough out for others, how can you make that better so that you are providing a better life for the people that surround you, so that in turn you all are more harmonious and can have a more positive and impactful life. Section number 4 is personal well-being and self-care. So I want to answer this also with 3s. And that is, first, to start off with, how did I take care of my mental and physical health? So I know for me already, some things like going back into counseling, starting to do karate, thinking about things like my diet, getting myself away from certain substances like alcohol, and cutting back on those things. Those are all things that I did to positively reinforce both my mental and physical health this year. So I want to talk about those so that I can remind myself that, if there's ever a tough day that I feel like I need to get back involved with any of those things, or something isn't working, I can look back and say, hey, here's what I've done. Here's the positive reinforcements for that. And I also want to talk about new positive habits. So again, I'm going to reiterate on the karate, going to counseling, and just even getting back into the things that make me happy, like creating here on YouTube. And then the final piece here is, how did you create joy and peace during times of hardship? And this is actually a section that I really struggled with, so I feel like I'm going to be elaborating a lot on this over the coming weeks, is because there was lots of moments of 2024 where I was just overwhelmed with anger and unhappiness and just these really bitter feelings towards a lot of people and a lot of things, and most all of it was out of my control. But what it didn't affect any of those people at all, but it did affect me. So I really want to focus on, how I can create joy and happiness and peace moving forward, even when times are tough or there's negative things going on around me. Maybe that's catching myself in that moment and reminding myself that there are better days ahead and that this is just something that's out of my control, and I need to focus in on the moment and hone in on that, and that's all I can do, is each day just giving it my all, and that being the best that I could do each and every single day. And then kind of the last section here is future intentions. So are there any unfinished goals that I had for 2024 that are going to carry over into 2025? What are those goals? Why didn't I achieve them? And what do I need to do to keep moving those and pushing those forward so that they will be achievable? Also, I'd like to talk about a word or a phrase for the new year, kind of theming out my year. And this can change. This is going to be one of those things where it's not going to be something that's set in stone, but it's something that I can change over time and adapt as I need it to. It can evolve with me as a person, as I grow professionally, as I grow personally, and just try to create a better and better life for myself as I continue on into 2025. And then the last thing is, what am I most excited about? It's a brand new year. A new year's like an open book or an open journal. It can be virtually anything you want. And if you are the person that is writing and crafting your narrative, then you can put whatever you want there. And it kind of goes into line with things like vision boards. It's one of those things, if you put it out into the world, it's going to make its way back to you some way. So be very specific about a lot of these things. But these are some of the things that I'm going to be prompting myself about over the next couple of weeks or so as we're leading ourselves into that new year. I think setting yourself up for success by talking about everything and really writing it out and really getting a lot of detail for yourself is what's ultimately going to help you be successful in 2025 with the things that you want to accomplish. This is not New Year's resolutions, putting down that I want to lose weight, I want to start dieting, I want to start going to the gym, because we all know those things don't work. Occasionally, one or two might stick, but why not do something where you're creating more of like a roadmap and an actual plan for the next year, instead of just sticking some idea of something you might want to do and you might actually achieve on a piece of paper. But I hope something resonated well with you from this video today. Take from it what you need, and as always, be sure to create something new today.